I know many of you have had this experience. When you walk down the street and you see an absolutely stunningly beautiful woman and her husband is not on the same par. I know we've all had that experience, and vice versa, by the way. We've seen it both. And you start thinking, how does that happen? And you automatically start making assumptions. Oh, he must have a lot of money or something like that, right? But it turns out that men prefer to marry less attractive women too. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rojo Reads the News. I am your host, Paul. Remember, if you like what you see, consider supporting me. I have an article that comes from JamaicaObserver.com today, and I found it an interesting read. I personally am not married, so I don't have this issue. I don't want to get married. It's not in the cards for my future, but I still am a fan of male-female relationship dynamics. I think it's rather interesting, and I love observing things and watching and learning about this type of stuff. So let's get into it. Her face is pretty and her body desirable, but I am sorry the day I pursued her and finally got her. Interesting. Men looking for a quick fling prefer women with more feminine facial features, said a study that delved into the evolutionary determinants of the mating game. Feminine features like a smaller jawbone or fuller cheeks are closely linked to a woman's perceived attractiveness, which in turn is taken as an indicator of health, youth, and fidelity, and other traits, it said. Feminine features are associated with a higher level of the female hormone estrogen, which is also linked with reproductive success. Studies on factors that influence human mating mostly focus on women who have shown a similar preference for a hulkier man for a fling, but a geekier one to settle down with, possibly a more reliable bet for helping to raise children. This is common knowledge. Everyone knows this stuff, right? In a study with several hundred heterosexual male volunteers, a team of researchers made composite pictures of women's faces and asked the men which ones they would choose for long or short-term relationships. There were two versions of each face. One was slightly more feminine and the other more masculine features. The faces were taken from European and Japanese faces. They found that men rated women with more feminine features more highly for a fling. The preference was especially high among men who were already in a steady relationship. Of course. Of course. When a man has secured a mate, the potential cost of being discovered may increase his choosiness regarding short-term partners relative to unpartnered men who can better increase their short-term mating success by relaxing their standards, wrote the study authors. But in making long-term choices, men may actually prefer less attractive feminine women, they added. Previous research had found that attractive women are likelier to be unfaithful, particularly if their partner is ugly. If his partner cheats on him, a man risks raising a child which is not his own, explains the authors. The study, led by Anthony Little from the University of Stirling and Benedict Jones from the University of Glasgow, appeared in the British Journal of Psychology. That's a rather disturbing cartoon, to be honest. Yikes. So here's some comments here. We have Mark, a 30-year-old banker. In a sense, it's true. As the song says, never make a pretty woman your wife. It's pure problems you're going to have in your life with her, especially a pretty, conceited woman. Yeah. Scott, a 40-year-old teacher. Personally, I'd want someone who can carry me off, as they say. But with a pretty woman, you'll always have to be on guard, especially the men who are not so attractive themselves. Jeff, a medical sales rep, 28. If you really think about it, when you're young, it's all about looks. But when you're thinking long-term, you want a woman who's less obsessed with looks and whose looks other people are less obsessed with to really settle down with. Daniel Lavender, 37. Yes, you want somebody who looks good by your side, but you don't want a beauty queen either. Pure trouble with that. The woman has to be somewhere in the middle and not be too bad or to look at, though. And the last one, Dave, a 52-year-old messenger. Not many men will admit it, but it's true. Personally, I want a woman who can take care of me and take care of the things around the house. I don't want anybody who is going to be looking for attention every time we go out. So based on the comments, it sounds like most of the men would agree with this. I think you guys know my answer. But what do you think? Comment below. Let me know.